It's Thirsty Thursday. Time to raise a glass.
Hey there, welcome to Izzo's Place. It's Thirsty Thursday, and even though I really don't want the channel to be all alcohol, these are the easiest videos for me to edit, to produce and edit. So until I get a moment to breathe, we're just doing whiskey content. But we will get back to the woodworking and the whimsy, and we're always going to have a good time, no matter what we're doing here at Izzo's Place. So thank you so much for joining me. You may have seen the short. I posted it at about 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. I don't know, it'll be about 8:39 Eastern Standard Time when I finish this. But today, I did a neck pour in the short you saw of the Willett straight rye whiskey. It's not a particularly old one. It just says minimum of 4 years. 108.8 proof. It's 54, which is 54.4% alcohol by volume. So it's not one of the more expensive, fancy ones. Some of the green label ones, you know, get old and get expensive. And then of course there's the purple tops. I did have a purple top. Someone gave it to me. That was very kind of them, and it was delicious. It is gone. It's an infinity bottle now. But so this is kind of more like their standard rye, and I bought it quite a bit ago. The neck pour is over a year old, that video. So obviously I got it over a year ago. So I don't know what batch it was. I have seen this, and I've seen some older ones for a little bit more money. But let's go ahead and get back to this. It seemed on the video, it seemed I like it. I don't know a lot about the history of Willett. I have gone to their bar there, at the Willett bar, at least in 2020 when I was there. Fantastic old fashions. The bar is really cool looking. They've got a bunch of neat mixed drinks, and the bartenders are kind of like, quite honestly, eventually down the road, I'm going to make sure I have a leather apron, and I'm going to have it where I can use it for when I'm the barkeep or when I'm out being a carpenter in the shop. But they're the kind of place the bartenders have the cool leather aprons. And the appetizers there were very good. I can't remember, there was something specific that we really liked. Wait, I can't remember. I bet if Izzo can think of it, or if he braves waking up Mrs. Izzo and asking her, I'll let you know what that was, but I don't remember, unfortunately, off the top of my head. So I haven't drank a lot off of this, but it still has gotten air. And just to hedge our bets, about 10 minutes ago, I poured a little bit into a rocks glass to let it go ahead and even get some air there. So let's go ahead and get into this. So 108.8 proof. I do tend to find that a lot of the whiskeys I like do end up in a range of about 105 to 115. Now, my personal absolute favorite bottle that I own is Boulder Spirits single barrel pick that ADHD Whiskey did, the Mountain Goat. That is my personal favorite whiskey, and that's like 125 proof or something like that. But in general, a lot of the whiskeys that I really like are in this range that this rye is in. So let's go ahead and see how this thing is. It's tracking with what I saw in the short when I reviewed it before I posted it. Vanilla and mint on the nose, but there's something funky in it. I don't know what the funk is yet. We're going to figure it out together. Ooh. Delayed hug. Ooh, and strong. Granted, this is my first pour of the day, and it's been a heck of a day. Using a 5-pound sledgehammer and a coal chisel, and finding muscles that I hadn't used in a while. So in the short, I said pepper spice and oak notes, and those are both there, but it's a little more complex than I found it the first time. So that's exciting. That means the bottle has opened up a little bit, giving us some other flavors. Also, real quick, and maybe I'll edit this out, but I'm going to go get a little bit of water, because after we've tasted it a couple times, I'm going to add a drop or two of water and see what that does to the whiskey. So if you're going to add water to the whiskey, and there's different people have different thoughts. Some people will be offended if I add water to it. Some people want it watered down for either flavor or just softening. I don't like pouring because I always feel like I pour too much. So whenever possible, I try to use a spoon. Also somewhere it might be at home, I've got like a water droplet thing, like a glass one where you dip it in the water, put your thumb over it, and then you can transfer a drop or two that way. I personally like that, but I do not know where that is. So it's kind of like a mini whiskey thief, but just for water. All right, anyway, so I got my water, so we're ready with that. Let's go ahead and get back in here though. There's something funky when I first smell it, and then the funk fades, and then I get the nice vanilla, the nice mint. All right, before we go any further, I want to look and see if they got a mash bill. Straight rye whiskey. They got the proof. Rare release, handcrafted in Kentucky. Small batch Willett family estate. Distilled, aged, and bottled by the Willett Distillery, Bardstown, Kentucky. I see nothing. I see nothing on it. I'm wondering if perhaps this is like a 95.5, like 95% rye and 5% malted rye or malted barley. And I could look it up, but I'm sorry, I don't want to. Hey there, editing Izzo here. It was too much text to put in there, but just to let you know about the mash bill. So what they do with their rye is they have two rye mash bills. One's a high rye, one's a low rye. And so the high rye mash bill is 74% rye, 11% corn, 15% malted barley. So there's that malt. The low rye is 51% rye, 34% corn, and 15% malted barley. So if I'm editing Izzo, then editing Izzo, maybe head editor Izzo is going to put roughly what the percentages would be, because they say they use more of the high rye than the low rye. So, editing what do you call it? Editor-in-chief. There we go. Editor-in-chief Izzo loves you even more than editing Izzo, and I love you a lot. But yeah, there's something funky. And funky, in my opinion, is not always bad. As a matter of fact, I kind of like it. It brings an unusual little note that you need to try to figure out. It does smell to me like some sort of malt. So whether it's a malted rye or malted barley that's in there, it smells malty funk to me. But it doesn't smell like funky wheat. So my guess would be, and wheat doesn't really enter into it. But a lot of times when I get a funky note, I'm also getting some sort of wheat note. I'm not getting that. It is a bit grainy, but it doesn't smell like wheat to me. So it smells like I'm either in kind of a slightly damp rye or barley field after a rain. And so there's a moist, but not in a bad way, kind of funkiness about it. That's what I'm getting on the nose. And then it kind of fades, and then I get vanilla and mint. The mint, as usual for me, is like a winter mint. So kind of like a sweeter mint, not sharp like a spearmint or a peppermint. I do enjoy the nose. This is great. So I talked about the proof. I know in the short I mentioned it. I don't know if I said it here yet. $70. So a 4-year-old rye whiskey, $70. Nice complex nose. I'm not mad at it. I wouldn't pay more than that. So funkiness is right up front, which is weird. Usually that's where sweet lives. But the funkiness I got on the nose is right in the front there, in the front where the sweet should be. But again, it's not distasteful. It is just funky. Then it does get spicy, and I would say I just said pepper spice. But that would usually, if I say pepper spice, that's usually black pepper. I'm not getting black pepper. I'm getting more of like the cinnamon spice. And cinnamon, but like muted by some just random other baking spices. So it's like a little bit of a cacophony in there. Maybe editing Izzo will define cacophony for you if you don't know what that word means. So funky when I first bring it to my nose. And then vanilla and mint. So I like that. I like when a thing will kind of surprise you. And I was hesitating to mention it, but there's that good old Bazooka Joe bubblegum floating around in there. I don't know if that's a barrel effect, because I seem to get that on both bourbons and rye whiskeys. So that's just the way my brain is translating some of the sweet notes. So you're gonna have to stay with me here. The palate tastes old. The palate tastes like I walk into a store that's been closed for 5 years. So, It's dusty. It's the tiniest bit mildewy. But the store used to have it was a bakery. Honestly, in the front where the funk is, I'm getting a little bit of honey. Just a hint of honey. And then the spice, like I said, cinnamon and baking spices. So it's real weird. Then on the back end, then I'm getting a little bit of pepper and then a lot of oak. The finish is like all oak for me. So that's what I'm like wandering into an old defunct bakery. That's just the tiniest bit mildewy and a little dusty, but still a little sweet and spicy. I'm kind of not disappointed in this. What whiskey am I disappointed in? There's only been a handful, but I'm kind of glad that I've revisited this. I'm going to have to hit it with some friends and get their opinions on it. But I'm pretty happy with this. I don't know. Well, I have enough unopened bottles, and I went on enough travel this last year that I need to not buy any bottles for a while. So unless a really special bottle at a really good deal comes across my path, I'm done for a little bit. But I have enough unopened bottles for quite a bit of content, especially if I'm just doing it once a week. So I'm not going out and getting the more expensive version of this at this time. Based on this tasting, and we'll see how the rest of the bottle goes. It could change for the worse. Hopefully it won't. But based on this little tasting that I've just done, I would probably replace this after it's empty. $70 is not bad for this. Yep, and it just depends when this is out. Maybe I'll splurge on his more expensive older brother. Try that out. But if you see the Willett rye, the green label, but the younger one, because there is a more older, more expensive version of this. If you see the one for $70, I think it's a buy personally. That's just me. Now I do need to eventually. So Willett has those pot still shaped, kind of shaped like a ship bottle, like 13th Colony, but this is kind of like blocky. So the one, it kind of almost reminds me of like, I was gonna say Genie's lamp, but that's not quite right. But it's more exotic looking. But it's got the wide, heavy base. I haven't heard good things about it, but the bottle is so neat looking. I will probably get one eventually and try it out. But that's the Willett. That's their like shelf bourbon. So I'll have to try that. Actually, I did. So I hear online a lot that people don't enjoy it, but I have a friend that has one, and she says it's great. She and her husband enjoy it. So I'll have to pick up one of those eventually. When I do, I will research the history of the Willett company, and I'll update you on what I find out. One more. Oh, we're gonna add a little bit of water. So let me quick nose and taste. Then we add some water. Nose and taste it again. Funky Cold Medina. Nothing new on it though, but it's very good. I think the defunct bakery store still stands on the palate. A little bit of a Kentucky hug, even though there's been 3 or 4 sips already. So that 108.8 is pouring through. You can't see it, but I've got like maybe half of this spoon full of water. I don't know exactly how many milliliters that would be. I guess it would be 10 or less. And I don't feel like that was too much, even for the small amount of whiskey that remains in the glass. Saw a very nice rundown of adding water to your whiskey on Instagram. Maybe I'll repost that, because I thought the guy made a lot of sense. And ultimately, you enjoy whiskey the way you want to enjoy it. Neat, water, ice cube, rocks, mixed drink. The most important thing is drinking it with friends, so that way you're not a lonely weirdo drinking with a camera. Hi, camera. Ooh, okay. Okay, the honey is in the nose now. Funky thing was still there, but then it went into like a honeysuckle fragrance. And then the vanilla and the mint are there afterwards. So just added, getting the water in there. And water and alcohol, they fight a little bit. They don't truly mix. So then the water will do things to the whiskey and will sometimes release stuff or mute stuff, and then other stuff comes out. So like I said, I should repost that Instagram. Or maybe I'll steal it and credit him. I'll isify his words. I'll put him in my own words, but then I'll credit him. The Bazooka Joe's there a bit too now, a bit more than it was. the water eased off on like the old notes. So all the notes were there, they just seemed a little less funky, a little less old. The honey also on the palate was accentuated a little bit. So adding the water for me added a little bit of honey to the nose, honeysuckle rather, specifically honeysuckle. We had, when I was a kid, we had a bush that had honeysuckle growing on it. And then on the palate, it added a little bit of honey. Kind of replaced the vanilla. Like I didn't really get any vanilla on the palate anymore. Although I guess I wasn't calling out vanilla at all really anyway. I was always calling out just a little bit of honey. So it just accentuated a little bit more, brought it out. Nothing new. Okay, so just to rehash, Willett Straight Rye Whiskey, 4 years old, so it's their younger release. 54.4 alcohol by volume, 108.8 proof, $70 if you can get it at retail, which I can in Ohio. I think it's a good buy. I don't regret it at all. I think it's actually, it has helped by sitting a bit, and I'm looking forward to enjoying that some more. I want to take it to some friends, some people whose palates I trust, and just have them compare it with me. Yeah, I guess that's all I got for you. So, hopefully, we'll get some woodworking in here. There's always whimsy. I said that wrong. Hopefully, we'll get some more woodworking in here. There's always whimsy no matter what we're doing at Izzo's place. I hope that you're adding whimsy into your life. It's just going to make it better. Hey, I'll tell a quick story after the credits. But so for now, if you're working, work safely. If you're drinking whiskey, I don't usually finish these for you on camera. If you're drinking whiskey, please drink responsibly. But do everything with a little bit of whimsy. You're going to have a good time. And I will see you next time you're hanging out at Izzo's place. Why, hello there. Mic check. Mic check. Mike, seriously, are you okay? I'm just checking. Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that. Oh. You look crooked. But we're gonna leave it. I need a glass. I did this just to have it like get a little air, because I didn't drink a super ton of this, but it still has air. We're still going through with the long review on it. Okay, there we go. See, it's hard to stand here because there's so much floor whiskey that I'm kind of touching 4 bottles with my right foot. So it's weird to be like that. Anyway, okay. Haha, woohoo! Let's put it here. Hey, Lauren. 1, 2, 3. Gotcha. Okay. Let's do our usual. Let's get some screenshots. We'll see which one we use. Let's do a stretch that one. Okay, so I was replacing a commercial door today. Commercial door. A commercial door is done properly. In a brick building, they installed it as they were bricking it up, and they poured concrete down the sides. And sometimes they are quite difficult to get out. So today was probably the most difficult time I've had getting a door out like that. Fortunately, I charged them so much that I was almost feeling bad that I was charging that much. But after 8 hours, and I'm not quite done cleaning up the opening so I can install the door, I do not feel bad anymore. I'll still make a decent bit of profit on it for a change. And I don't feel bad, but could have even charged them more. I don't think I would have got the bid if I did, but I am feeling muscle aches in some interesting places. Muscles I don't normally use when I'm doing my usual work. But where was I going with this story? I don't even know. I don't know where I was going with this when I started it out. That's all. That's my day. Just a little tired. So it's nice to be here filming for you. We'll edit this as quickly as we can and go from there. So for those of you that made it this far, do you like... So what I do now with the Thirsty Thursdays is I have my song that I had AI create, and eventually, with all of my AI songs, I'm going to learn to play them. When I get back into playing some of my musical instruments, I'm going to learn to play them myself. And so eventually I'm going to replace the AI with me doing the song. But so what I do now for the Thirsty Thursday is I start out with the song with the lyrics, and then once the talking starts, I cut out the vocals and I just have the song play. So let me know how that's been, if you like it, if the music's too loud, too soft, let me know. And then of course when I get to like the end credits, then I switch it to the Izzo's Place theme song, which actually has a name. Its name is Good Times. And that one also, I'll definitely do a new version of that. You know what, if I don't get any actual woodworking videos out soon, on Monday I will release, I do have a theme song made by AI for Tools Day, and it's kind of like at times it's hard rock, at times it's hair metal. It's kind of interesting. So I will post that I'll post it by Monday, and you can let me know how you feel about it. All right, I guess that's all. Thanks for hanging out, and if you did make it this far, let's think of something weird you could put in the comments. I'll put pink elephants in the comments, and you can use it. You could just put pink elephants, or you can figure out some weird sentence to say. But yeah, throw some pink elephants in there. Oh, you know what? Here, a little. Let's do an after credit bonus just for fun. I have, because I like stuff with blackberry in it. I'm a huge fan of blackberry Dr. Pepper. I'm a huge fan of blackberry ginger ale when I've come across it. So I found blackberry Jack Daniels. So, you know, it's 70 proof, 35% alcohol by volume. So it's not a straight whiskey, so I don't have like an urge to like really neck pour or whatever. So is there got a tag, or am I cutting? Okay, I found the tag. So I don't have like an urge to neck pour this and then review it later. So we're just gonna sip this as like a after credits little hangout. Just you and me. Just you and me. Because everyone else thinks I'm talking to them. But I'm just talking to you. Alright, so Jack Daniel's Tennessee Blackberry Original Recipe. Blackberry liqueur blended with Jack Daniel's Tennessee whiskey. And again, I said it was 70 proof or 35% alcohol by volume. Ooh, the gnat that's flying around. Boy, he tried to fly into the bottle. I don't remember what I paid for it. I think it was under $30. It's not that expensive. All right. No surprise, the main note is blackberry. Blackberry Jolly Rancher, if there was such a thing. Oh, that's nice. There's a hint of grape bubble yum in there. So blackberry is the predominant note, and then in some weird way there's grape bubble yum gum. There we go. Took me a minute to get there. Okay. So it's blackberry liqueur mixed with Jack Daniels. So it tastes like blackberry cola to me. This is pretty good. There's a little weird sharpness in the finish, which makes me think I would prefer to put this in some Coke or Pepsi, or maybe even just some tonic water. And I think that would be glorious. But even just sipping it on its own is fine. Let me go ahead and read it for you. The distinct taste of Jack